Hello everybody. Today we're going to be building custom GPTs that build other custom GPTs. So what that essentially means is that you can build all of these different versions of ChatGPT on top of that model. What's different about these versions is that they're trained on specific instructions inside their instruction prompt, and you can also hook them up via APIs, although the custom action builder inside ChatGPT is not super non-developer friendly. So the easiest way to do this is to either train the model, these custom versions of ChatGPT, on a knowledge base, which are basically PDF files, text files, everything like that, and then you can train the instruction prompt on how to use those files. So when you query these different ChatGPTs that you're building custom to whatever use case it might be, it can provide you much better answers. So why a custom GPT builder? Well, I was able to create all of these different GPTs that you're seeing on the screen that I use all the time for day-to-day tasks that are very repetitive in about 2 minutes, depending on, the data that I'm providing these GPTs. And the reason I was able to do this is because this one singular custom version of ChatGPT is trained on how to create all of these different instruction prompts based on what I'm inputting. Here's how we can build our own. Well, we essentially have to create an instruction prompt that creates other instruction prompts. So you see the version of ChatGPT that we're using for is sophisticated enough to be able to handle the user's input, and based on that input, it will determine what kind of instruction prompt it needs, and I'll show you that in a second here. But essentially, let's say that you have a customer service representative at your company, and you want them to be able to quickly query all of the different documents that you have on handling different support tickets for whatever that might be. So now the customer service rep can go to this custom GPT and input the customer's request, and then the GPT will tell them how best to respond based on the docs it's trained on. And we can create this super easily. So here is my custom GPT builder inside of ChatGPT. And before we go on building this customer service GPT, I'm going to take you inside the back end of this instruction prompt. So as you can see, we highlight different sections of this prompt using hashtags. And what this does, if you're familiar with Markdown formatting, is it creates these big titles. And when you do that, AI knows that this pieces of text under these hashtags are representative of what this is supposed to be. The problem is when you're using big blocks of text in just one paragraph to define your instruction prompt, the AI can get lost because it doesn't quite know where one context ends and another begins for, if the instructions for the task versus the output it should be using, it needs to be clearly defined. So we've clearly defined all of the steps for creating a custom GPT inside of here with an instruction prompt framework. Now this is probably the most important part of this custom GPT builder. This instruction prompt framework is allowing this GPT to understand how it's going to output the custom GPT that is being built by the user when it requests one. And because it has this framework to follow, it knows exactly how it should set it up as well as how it should output it. And that's important because if we come into this GPT now to create this customer service GPT, we're going to want to be able to copy and paste it right into the new GPT. So I'll say what I mean here. So if we were to say to this, please build a custom GPT that is capable of handling customer service requests based on the customer support text file that it will be uploaded with. This custom GPT will be used by our customer service representative. They will ask this custom GPT what the best answer to give is to the customer, depending on the customer's request and the knowledge in the knowledge base, as well as being able to handle unique requests that might come in. Okay, so we have a rather lengthy instruction prompt for the GPT builder, but the more context you provide it on the, the user experience that you want, how you want to be able to interact with this, as well as, the context about what it's being used for, the data it's being trained on, it's going to have a much easier understanding of how to handle the user's request. As you can see in the data section, it is saying that it will have access to this customer support text file. So it knows before it answers you that it should reference the customer support text file. And with this right here, we are going to use an example customer service text file that I have put together for this video. And the reason we output it in this code block is so we can just simply click copy code, and we are going to create a new GPT, and this is going to be, I believe the company for this is called Eco Grove Customer Service. Right. We're going to paste it in here. We're going to put on the code interpreter in data analysis, because if you don't do this, I've heard that it has a harder time analyzing data, which in this instance is just a lot of text, but we're still going to want it to be able to query all of it before answering, so we're not, missing important details. So now we're just going to upload the file, customer support.txt. You can use a image if you want, but obviously it's not necessary. So now we have this custom GPT ready to go. What we're going to do is provide two sample questions, one that is on the text file and then one that is clearly not, to see how the GPT responds to it. So first we're going to say the customer is wondering how to change their new thermostat. And if we were to look inside of this doc, we'll be able to see that inside of it there is a query for handling customer service thermostats. So it's first giving them a script on how it should handle this with the customer, and then guiding it through the steps, based on that. And then what's great is, let's say this, customer service rep is on a live call, it can immediately type in right in this chat, what the customer is saying, so that it can get an iterative process on solving this for the customer. So let's do an example that is, not clearly obviously inside the customer support doc. So if I were to say the customer is wondering how his refrigerator got on his roof. I cannot spell today, but it shouldn't matter. This is an unusual situation, wondering how the refrigerator ended up on the roof. Obviously, that's never happened before, at least to this company and their knowledge. But as you can see, it's even willing to be, serious with the customer, listen to them, not just, immediately assume that that's ridiculous and that didn't happen, because you don't want to treat your customers like that. Anyways, on the off chance that it did happen, So now with this GPT builder, we are able to create any instruction prompts for any types of custom GPTs, depending on what we ask of it. The more detailed of an answer that you're providing it, the better custom GPT that it can create for your use case. Now, this doesn't have anything to do with the custom actions. Currently, those are not super non-developer friendly, meaning if you don't know how to code and work with API schemas, it's going to be pretty difficult for you. Not impossible, but this is mainly what I use it for. It's creating custom GPT instruction prompts. Recently, I've just made some from YouTube videos that I really liked that were guides, creating thumbnails or ideas, and I was able to, transcribe that video, create a text file of the notes, and then upload those notes into the custom GPT so that I can essentially reference and talk to that video through AI, which is a fun use case for it. But all things are possible, in the context of creating different custom GPT instruction prompts with this GPT builder. Now, if you want your own, you can obviously go back in the video and write down all of these instructions that I have inside of here, but I'm also going to link the chat in the description. So follow the instructions there and you will get this exact custom GPT delivered right to you, so you can begin to create any custom GPTs that you want. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you have any suggestions on if you want me to go over, different prompting techniques that I use to create this GPT builder or anything of that sort, please let me know in the comments. But have a great day, and I will see you next time.